welcome back to Getting Your TEFL Online. This is part 3 and the finalization of everything that has happened. Okay, so today we're going to go over the authentication and legalization of your TEFL document once you get your hands on it. My guide is technically going to go over if you live in the United States, live in a different country. My guide's not going to help you, but it might give you some base ground to follow. So I definitely want you guys to follow the laws of your country and state. The United States has different guidelines and or laws depending on what state you're in, which is very odd. I'll go over a few supposed loopholes that I've seen on Reddit and what people have done in the past. Sometimes it works, it doesn't. And then finally, I'm going to go over using an agency, which is what I did because I wanted everything correct. So these are going to be your normal state or country procedures. Remember, this is for the United States, and most of my examples are going to be from the state of Texas, which is where I live right now. So the first thing you need to do is once you get your certificate in hand, you're not using an agency, you have to notarize your document. You can notarize these things anywhere. It has to be the real document, the original, not a copy, the authentic real document. This is where you're going to run into some weird things. Like the state of Texas has a law that if it's an educational document or diploma, only the issuing agency can notarize it. So like my university degree could only be notarized by the university, or A&M University, Texas A&M University, legally. This is in a weird gray area because it is technically an educational document / diploma training. But also for the state of Texas, technically a state of Texas notary cannot notarize this document because it's not even from the United States. TEFL Full Circle is based in like London. So that's the first thing you're going to do is notarize whichever, if you happen to get your TEFL, TESOL, Delta from the state that you live in the United States, you can get it notarized in the state that you lived in. Bam, bam. Next thing you need to do is authenticate it at the notary. Authenticate the notary at the Secretary of State's office of the notary used. So in Texas, when I got my diploma notarized at Texas A&M University, I then had to take it to, which is in College Station, I then had to take it to Austin, Texas, where the Secretary of State of Texas is, because they had the notary of Texas, and then I had to get their notary authenticated. They stapled a big piece of paper thing. I'm assuming this would be the same thing. Once you get it notarized, you have to take it to Secretary of State of the state of the notary, and then they authenticate the notary who notarized your document. It's all convoluted. The next part is sending it or walking it into Washington, D.C. to the U.S. State Department. Now, this is optional because of a part I'm going to go through next, but this is optional. If you want to be completely covered, go ahead and do this. You can follow the U.S. State Department's guidelines. It's really easy. You fill out a form. Every piece of documentation is like $8, I think. And what they do is they authenticate the Secretary of State's authentication. So no one's checking anything. They're just checking each other's signatures and making sure that it's like the right person. Okay, so and then at that point, once you get it back from the U.S. State Department, then it's ready for the Chinese consulate authentication. Now I say that the State Department is optional because for the consulate, the Chinese consulate, if you're in the United States, they have jurisdiction over certain states. So once you get your document notarized and authenticated by the state in which you live or that it is in, you can then go straight to the Chinese consulate authentication if they're in your jurisdiction. So these are all the states, and they're all grouped. And then in white, I wrote what city the consulate is in that you have to take it to. So I live in Houston, so anything that I do in Texas, or most of my documents are from Texas, I'm covered. The consulate in Houston covers Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. So if you live in Florida, you got to come to Houston. Pretty sure the consulate does not take mail-in anything. You can go through an agent, though. That'll be one thing you run into. Is if you don't live near any of these cities, you can't mail it in. You have to use an agency. Agencies cost money. So I'll have this link in the description as well. But if you're in these jurisdictions, you can skip the U.S. State Department authentication part. Saves you a lot of time, a little bit of money. Okay, next, the supposed loopholes. So technically, you can notarize an official copy. It means you take a copy, have the original, so you have both forms in your hand. Then you go to the notary, and the notary will notarize the copy that you made, an exact copy, the other paper. A lot of the times, what I've read on Reddit, past people, that they have gotten away with this because the consulate doesn't care. They just want stamps. All they're looking for. So you'll still get the stamp, and it'll be a copy. I've heard China is cracking down on this, and they actually want full-fledged diplomas and pieces of paper and not notarized copies. So you could get snagged up, or depending on the employee who decides to push your stuff through the red tape, you could through it all. Yeah, notarizing a copy possibly get you through. So TEFL Full Circle is in London. I could have technically gotten the little TEFL diploma from them, made an official copy, had the official copy notarized, then taken it to the State Department, had that authenticated, then taken it to the Chinese consulate, and then be done. Technically. Another loophole that I've read up on is notarizing documents without an address. Like in TEFL Full Circle, their diploma here, yes, that's what I'm going to call it, their diploma does not have their company's address on it. It just says TEFL Full Circle. There's no address or anything. Sometimes you can get like little fake copies of the whoever you're taking your TEFL or TEFL from, just to see what their diploma will look like when it's done. Don't see an address on it. Technically, you can take it to a notary where they can notarize it, and then you can take it to the State Department where they authenticate the notary. Go down the steps. So if the document does not have an address, it technically cannot be proven that they are in a different state. Thing like that. On top of that same loophole is that, well, I forgot what I was going to say, to be honest. But it has to do with their address and not being on the document. Oh yeah, what I want to say is when you're taking an online class, it can also be said that technically you took the class where whatever state you live in, wherever you live, because it was an online class. There are odd loopholes that you can tell the notary, it was an online class, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, and then they'll stamp it and sign it. Get away with it. So I'm gonna say this right here. I do not recommend any of these shortcuts. You have no idea where any of this might get snagged. If it does get snagged, you wasted a lot of time and a lot of money. Then you got to go back and get everything actually notarized. All that jazz. I looked into doing this. I did not do this. I decided to bite the bullet. Here we go. When you use an agency, you are paying for any steps that you need to be done. So this is the most expensive route to go. They'll go from notarizing it all the way to the Chinese consulate authentication. They'll do every step in between. It is worry and hassle free. Besides, I mean, I can say that now that I have it, but while you're waiting, you're worrying because you're like, I've never used this company before. Can I trust them? What if it gets lost in the mail? Everything you can worry about. Cost the premium price. You are definitely, if you do it independently, it's gonna be about $20 per document, roughly. It's gonna be a little more than that. It'll be like $5 for a notary. It's $5 for a notary where I did it. It's $8 per document. No, I'm sorry. It's $15 per document at the state of Texas. It's $8 at the federal level, so at the U.S. State Department. And then it's $8 again at the Chinese consulate. You got a little under $40 per document. Or right around $40, to be honest. When I did this, one document it cost me 163 pounds. 163 pounds. So there's your premium price. It is yeah. It's like 5 times the price. 4 to 5 times the price. And this was also my problem. It may take longer than doing it individually. Say Texas, I live pretty close to all the places I needed to go. I even live in the same city as a Chinese consulate. I can drive and get all this stuff done on the same day. I went to my college, had it notarized the same day. Went to the State Department in Texas, had it authenticated same day. Drive down to the consulate, which is in my city. That takes 4 days, but still, so almost in a week I could have everything done. But this took around a little over a month. And then I would definitely recommend this for any international documents, or if you happen to be in an international location and you haven't gotten any of it. So if you happen to be an American citizen, have all these, like your diploma and your TEFL from an American organization, bite the bullet, pay for an agency, mail. There's a lot of steps. All right. Next. So this is who I used. I used the Hague Apostille Service. Full Circle recommended them. I just happened to send them an email when I was waiting for my grades to come in. I asked them, I was trying to figure out a lot of stuff. So I sent them an email and I said, am I getting a notarized copy of my diploma, of my TEFL certificate? And they pretty much responded with, no. Get an official document. If you need any type of legalization, you should contact this company. We've had several customers go through them and they're highly recommended. Alright, so they gave me a contact name and they gave me their website and I think their email. So I just went ahead and emailed them. I did not talk to the exact contact that they gave me, but the lady who helped me, perfect. They're in London and I Texas, like an 8-hour time, 8 hours. Daylight savings time over here. They always got back to me when business hours. It was great customer service. Anytime I sent them an email, I would always have a reply the next day. That's mainly because I was emailing 5 p.m. where I was. They're closed. She walked me through every step. She knew exactly what I needed and how I needed it. They can personalize it, or if you want, you can set it up online by yourself. You can actually talk to someone on the phone, which I didn't do because there. Or you can set everything up through email, and that's what I did. I set everything up through email. This lady knew exactly what I needed, and I'm gonna put the link in the description. And I think the next picture I'm gonna show you is pretty much the exact thing that you're gonna want. If you did your thing on Full Circle, and you need everything authenticated and legalized and notarized, all that stuff, it needs to be through UK. Technically, like straight up, that's what it needs to be done without going in through any. On their website, this is the exact same thing that you're going to be looking for. You're going to click the attestation tab, and the apostille. So this is pretty much what it is. I just took a screenshot of the website. Yeah, you're going to click on the attestation tab because that is technically what China needs. That is what the UK government. In America, we call it authentication. Right, and this is pretty much what it looks like, except for, yeah, they did a little screen grab here. All my documentation they put on the back of the certificate. Frame it without having any hootenanny on it. Okay, and then these are the steps right here that they go ahead and they check the document. They give you the solicitor certification, which is the notarization, we call it over here. Then they take it to the FCO apostille. That is what we would do as the Secretary of State authentication. And then the embassy attestation, that is what we would call the consulate authentication. They do all 3 steps, 161 pounds. Yeah. My Amazon credit card does all the changes currency for me. All right, next. So, okay, here's the timeline. I contacted and made arrangements to the Hague Apostille on June 8th. Full Circle didn't have my papers graded until June 12th. June 12th! And that's the same day they sent it off. Since I already prepaid for the TEFL certificate, the actual piece of paper. Oh no. They sent me an email and they said, we would like to reconfirm the place in which you want it sent. So I gave them the Hague Apostille Services mailing address, which they told me to give in an email. So I emailed Full Circle. They're like, oh, we've noticed that you've paid for a certification paper. Please let us know where you want it to be sent. So I sent them the address, and then then Hague Apostille. I never heard from Full Circle ever after June 12th. And then Hague Apostille updated me every so often. They notified me that they got the document, and then they notified me that it was at the Chinese consulate on June 26th. And then on June 28th, they notified me that they had mailed my documents. June 28th. That is when they mailed it to me. When you're setting up all this stuff, there's options for different mailing stuff like that. I did regular air mail with tracking. That's what I did. I received my document July 20th. July 24th right now, doing this video. I received my document on July 20th. As you can see, it almost took a month just for me to get it in the mail. Like, they were done with it. They gave me a tracking number. I got it July 20th. And technically, they do have faster shipping options. You can even pay up to £50 extra to get it within like 3 days. So yeah, I went with the cheapest shipping method. I think it was the free method, to be honest. Maybe it was like £2 or something like that, and that's just because I wanted a tracking number. Oh no, I'm sorry. Here, they sent me they sent you an invoice and a receipt. All this good stuff. I paid an extra £10 for the air mail with tracking. So that's what I did. But yeah, you can go all the way up to like £50 for like 3 business day. All right, and this is what I got. Bam, here's my document. You can feel that it has been stamped right here. So bam, there's my TEFL certificate. On the back here, they certified an original, so they have it marked certified to be an original document on 6/19/2018, and then there's their little solicitor stamp. Bam. And they did their little apostille thing, all this good stuff. That's when they stamped it with the seal of the Foreign and Commonwealth Office in London. And then when they took it to the Chinese consulate, that is when they authenticate it. And it's got all this Chinese writing, has the date in which it was authenticated, which was 6/22. So as you can see, they did this on the June 22nd, but it was still at the consulate on the 26th. And then in English, you can see in the back there's like a watermark that says China Authentication, and then they put a holographic sticker, and then it is bound. The sticker is bound to the. That is it. It is done. This thing is ready, and then they send you what you paid for, and then a little letter that says, "Dear customer, thank you. If you need anything else, please." All this stuff. They give you a QR code. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. So this is ready for the visa application process. And that is definitely what I recommend. Use an agency. Do it the right way the first time. Spend more money. I think if China keeps changing the process, this could get hairy in the future. But once it's authenticated, like that, for life, man, for life. Like I said, links are in the description below. So just a quick recap. Full Circle mailed my certificate on June 12th. So if I didn't do any of these services, I would have gotten it sometime after. That's it from Texas. It does take There you go. That is the full wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. My next videos are going to be just going over stuff in the same state as. But yeah, look into everything. I say follow the rules, and which will in the long do everything right. All right, thank you. I have any questions? Back to you. There's not a lot of questions I can answer, to be honest. I went through an agency. They did it all. You don't know what you're doing, go through an agency. All right. Thank you. Like and subscribe. And my next videos will be the diploma and background check. All right. Thank you.